Hey guys, how's it going today? It is me, Captain Energy, and today we are going to take a look at a video requested by one of my subscribers. They would like to know, how do you control virtual synthesizers with hardware? Well, there are a couple ways to do that. One of the ways, of course, is if the instrument is a rack extension, and you just drop it on the screen. If you right-click one of the knobs here, and then just click Edit Remote Override Mapping, and then go to your keyboard that supports MIDI controllers here, as in not an analog keyboard. A lot of the analog keyboards don't actually export MIDI data. They don't put out CC data. So they will not work to control parameters. But devices like my CS1X here, my Akai MPK 249, many of my other synthesizers do export MIDI data, and those can be used to control the knobs on the screen here. Now, once I've selected a knob, as I just have here, I'll click OK, and now you'll notice that the knob right here that I selected, by this noise, is now controlled by a physical knob. As you can see, I'm moving it down here in the bottom right of the screen, and it is moving in a coinciding direction up here on the screen. Now, that's great if you're using a rack extension, but this trick does not work, at least not at first, with VSTs. So what do we do to make that happen? I'm going to bring in a VST, and I'm going to go to my Korg Brussels. Here we go. This is one of the gadget synthesizers that is used with Korg Gadget. One of my favorite other DAWs, believe it or not, that I use on my iPad all the time. This is probably my top iPad DAW at the moment, besides Cubasis. I love Cubasis also, but this one is kind of very nice and compact, has a bunch of sounds. It's a very closed ecosystem, which kind of reminds me a lot of the way Reason used to operate. Anyway, one thing I usually do right when I get a VST in is I click this Keep Open. This will prevent the VST from going away should I click off of it, because otherwise, if it's not on Keep Open and I click off of it, a lot of times the VST will hide, and it's just kind of a pain. I got to reopen it right over here. It's just extra work. One thing you want to do when you get a new VST is always take a screenshot of that VST. That will give Reason a current picture of what the VST looks like to use on the browser over here. Because otherwise, you will not see a copy of the image of the VST. You'll just have a gray box that has a name of it. And of course, I don't know how you are, but I'm a very visual person, really like being able to see what I'm using. So for that reason, I usually go that way. Now, if you want to automate this synthesizer, you have a couple options. One is to do it manually. If I want to manually adjust repeat, which can be a cool effect, I can go right over here and hit automate. And then by selecting repeat, Reason will insert a lane down here for that automation. You'll see it's labeled repeat. And then if I go in here and just take my pencil tool, I can manually draw in automation points and adjust them using my arrow to smooth them out, make them behave a little better. And then if I were playing this, you can see the automation is working. Now, that's one way to do this, to do it manually, draw it in and all that. I'm going to delete this automation lane. We do not need it, because what I'm about to show you is how to use your hardware to control that same function right here, the repeat. Now, normally on a rack extension, like I said, you'd right click it, it would bring up that menu. Well, right clicking this repeat does nothing. None of these knobs do. But if I go up here where it says remote, click that, then select a parameter by just clicking it normal, it brings up that same menu. Now, if I just turn one of my knobs right here, for example, and then click OK, boom, that knob is now attached to that parameter. And that makes it easy for me to control and automate that manually. You can do that with any of these features, functions, or knobs, sliders, whatever here. As long as the slider is automatable in any way by the manufacturer. I have bumped into a couple VSTs that do not automate certain portions of their controls. In particular, one that I can think of is the Arturia DX7 The sliders on it do not automate. You cannot automate them in Reason for some reason. All right, so I click that one. Now I'm going to go right here, pick that wheel, and here we go. Now I get another. You can see I've got this glide, and now I've got glide and pump on these two knobs. One thing I'll mention is that if you decide that you want to automate something else and you use the same knob that you've already selected, and now I try and add the same knob, which is the assigned one on my CS1X. I already assigned it. It's going to ask me, are you sure you want to overwrite this? Basically, it's saying if there's a mapping conflict, do you want to replace the functionality of this knob, and I can cancel and keep the functionality I've already created, or replace it. If I replace it, boom, now I'm controlling the bottom right here, and the glide is not moving anymore. And that's fine. Great way to repurpose knobs you're using or not using. It just takes a second to, control a different part of the synthesizer this way. And that is the entire tip. I hope that was helpful to you. If it was, please drop me a like, leave me a comment, and let me know what you're thinking about these tutorials. If there's anything in particular that you're looking for help with, definitely hit me up in the comments. I will absolutely try and help you out as I have with this video. All right. Thank you so much for coming along, checking this out. Have a great day, and go make some music. Bye.